we'll take you step by step through Gina's exorcism, a mesmerizing session in which all those participating must be prepared for the unexpected.
Go out. The devil plays a great game of deception and will not reveal itself or themselves for quite a period of time.
Stay away!
Part 2 of Tom Gerald's report, right after this.
The priest's confrontation with the devil begins with a mass. Gina's unaware of the purpose of her visit to the convent. Father A says secrecy ensures the demons cannot prepare for this surprise encounter with the exorcist.
I want you to tell me what you're feeling, honey.
What did I do to deserve this?
You did nothing to deserve this, Gina. Do you want to be free of this?
Yes.
Are you going to help us to free you?
Yes.
Father A tries to draw the demons out. He gives Gina a glass of holy water, hoping to provoke a response. Before making the final decision to begin the rite of exorcism, he probes her psyche, identifying exactly what demons he's confronting.
Tell me, Gina, you can tell me what you feel.
At this point, things are moving along rather slowly. The devil plays a great game of deception and will not reveal itself or themselves for quite a period of time.
And let it be a sign of protection for our sister, Gina.
But then something does happen. Gina begins retching, and as the pre-exorcism examination intensifies, unexpectedly, low and unfamiliar voices begin to emerge.
Gina said to me, I have to go. And I tell you, I don't want to go at all. You understand?
Do you understand?
No, you understand. I don't want to go.
The very first time that I heard the voice manifested, I was quite surprised, hadn't expected that at all, and I thought, boy, here we go, fast and furious.
Praise be Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Praise be Jesus Christ.
Then, during a break, while the team prepares to begin the rite of exorcism, Gina becomes violent.
In the name of Jesus Christ, I silence Minga. I command the spirit of evil to leave now.
We don't want to leave. We don't want Gina.
Praise be Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God.
I was trying to stress to her how important it is that if she really wants help, she has to help us.
Command the spirit of evil.
Then all of a sudden, that insidious face changed to where Gina was no longer present. That's when the entity started to manifest itself by speaking and revealing who he was.
My name is Minga.
Minga, I command Minga.
Can the person undergoing this say, stop, halt, I've had enough?
We have to be sure that it's the person speaking. You want pain? I'll give you pain. If during the course it's the entity masking himself and trying to make us believe that I'm fine, leave me alone, this is where we continue until we're sure that we have what we started. Why aren't you praying, Gina?
I'm here.
No, you're not.
I'm here.
Just as quickly as the episode began, it's over.
I'm here.
Gina becomes more composed and is able to describe Zion and Minga, two of the 10 different entities she claims are controlling her.
Zion is African.
Mm-hmm. Is he an African of this type of today's age, or is he African in the jungle?
In the jungle.
Who else?
Minga.
Who's Minga?
Minga's a very short woman.
Often an adolescent will have hallucinations and see things or hear things or smell things and believe things, have delusions, as we call them, that look very much like the behaviors and the thinking patterns and the imagination of the possessed person. Schizophrenics very often, especially if they're paranoid, will often just burst forth with fierce expressions of anger and hostility and rage.
Gina?
A psychiatrist who had worked with this girl said he was convinced she was psychotic, not necessarily possessed. How do you explain the difference?
Well, I think one of the basic questions I would have to ask is whether the psychiatrist believes that possession is possible. And merely because it's psychotic doesn't necessarily exclude the presence of demons. Because the question I always ask them, I said, all right, you've explained it this far, but now what? What's after that? It's still happening, and they can't answer it.
The priests consider what they've seen and make the final and difficult decision. Gina will be given an exorcism.
Holy Lord,
It begins.
You who sent your only Son into this world in order that he might crush this roaring lion.
Father A. reads the sacred Roman Catholic rite of exorcism.
Throw your terror, Lord, over the beast who is destroying what belongs to you.
The prayers from the book he holds have remained virtually unchanged since the Renaissance.
Obey me in everything. Although I am an unworthy servant of God, do no damage to this person or to any of the people in this house. Lord Jesus Christ, send your Holy Spirit into our hearts and our lives, Lord. Send your Holy Spirit into our lives, Lord. Lord Jesus Christ, our living God. Stay away! I now exorcise you, most unclean spirit. You gave power to your apostles to pass through dangers unharmed. Armed with the power of your Holy Spirit, I can attack the evil spirit in confidence and security. He broke your strength. He threw you out into the exterior.
It's like a surgeon going in, trying to probe.
Most immaculate, who
You're
walked
trying to surgically lay bare what is there until you get to the core of what you're looking for.
all fit. I therefore enjoin every unclean spirit, each devil, each partner of Satan.
As the prayers intensify, so do Gina's physical reactions. The team's doctor ties her arms and legs to the chair.
Fear and take flight at the name of our Lord. Grace, the power of fear. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and in the hour of our death.
That's part of the objection of the demons to leaving.
Somebody help me. I said I don't want to go.
It also could be a prelude to levitation, the rising up off the ground. If she weren't being held down, the resistance could be such that she would rise up off the floor and go to the ceiling where nobody could touch her.
Death is your lot, impious one, because you are the prince of cursed homicides, master of the most evil actions, the teacher of heretics, the inventor of all obscenity. Go out, therefore, impious one.
Now we're heading into the class in terms of what we call the confrontation stage, where we're crashing together.
God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit.
I was seeing a 16-year-old little girl, you know, being screamed at and yelled at, you know, and then had to fight with myself and say, wait a minute, you know, there's something more happening here. Having been involved in similar situations, I know the reality of evil.
Fury element. Those who have done good will enter eternal life, and those who have done evil will...
When I glanced from the book and looked into her face, you could see the hatred was so intense.
May God bless
At
us.
times it's very nerve-wracking to see that look glaring at you, knowing that the evil that's present hates you so much. It's a frightening moment.
I don't want to burn. Sinners. Your brother's getting
Your
worse.
fire as yesterday.
More wars
Now that
are
it is
coming.
past, or as a watch
You
of the
understand?
night.
Jesus
You make
is
an
gonna
end of
take
them in
all of
their
us.
sleep. The next morning they are like the changing
burn a
grass,
lot of people.
which the dawn springs.
Father Labar voices the prayers word for word,
Father, and generated before all time. And
watching
his
Father A closely for signs of weakening.
been born from his mother in time.
I felt the power of God, and I also felt the power of evil.
Around those who fear him and delivers them.
In every single case I've had to deal, I've had to confront fear in terms of the
May
evil.
God have pity on us and bless us. May he let his face shine upon us. And may your way be known upon earth
Gina
among
seems
all
to
nations.
switch uncontrollably between personalities.
Give place to our Lord Jesus Christ, who poured out his blood for man. Give place to the Holy Spirit, who through the blessed apostle Peter.
The exorcism sometimes can go wrong if the priest who's performing it suddenly becomes over-compassionate or over-caring
Somebody help me. I said
and decides that maybe the devil should bother him instead of the person. And then the whole thing could collapse.
You leave
For a
now.
moment it started to happen, but then I caught myself and started all over.
Jesus Christ commands you. You must leave.
It sows a spirit of confusion, it sows a spirit of fear, that makes you think that things are happening to your body.
The rite of exorcism continues without let-up for several excruciating hours. As Father A reaches the final stage, when he says Zion, Minga, and the other diabolical influences must leave her,
Zion, leave now. In the name of
Gina becomes complacent, ready to obey the commands of the exorcist.
or you experience the fires of hell. Zion, leave now. In the name of Jesus Christ, I command any other spirits that are present in Gina to speak out now and reveal themselves. Minga has to go now. The cross compels you. The spirit of lust, that spirit of lust must leave Gina. I command you to depart now, to leave our sister alone forever, and never to return to her or to anyone else on this earth. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Gina, kiss the cross of Christ. Mama's going to take you home. You're going to relax, okay?
It's over. Gina appears to have come out of a trance.
Did you see a difference in her look, her face?
I did.
What was it?
I just saw a kid that was a lot more relaxed, and she was more at peace with whatever, maybe because it was over, you know, but she was more peaceful.
The night of the exorcism, the young girl said some of the troubling voices had returned to haunt her in her bedroom. Father A went there and performed an exorcism on the house, saying it was to drive the evil spirits out. But more was needed. Within a few days, all concerned, the priest and the girl's mother, decided she should be brought here to the Miami Children's Hospital for further analysis and treatment through a more conventional approach to mental problems. Confinement for 2 weeks in the psychiatric unit. Did she seem to be in better condition when she arrived a year and several months later?
Yes, in that she was still distorting reality, but not to the degree that she had previously, and although agitated again, not to the degree that she had been previously. She gradually responded to a combination of medication and various psychotherapies.
What medication is she on now? Can you...
Currently, she's on haloperidol, which is an antipsychotic medication.
Haloperidol is a strong tranquilizer, which Gina continued to take after her release from the hospital.
Is that a measure of failure or success as far as the exorcism is concerned? Are drugs a part of the treatment?
Actually, it has nothing to do with it. The drugs treat the natural aspect of things, which help control her, you know, basic physical characteristics to allow her to begin to learn and such. But the one thing that I believe she has said consistently, those voices, those animals don't bother me anymore. And that's whether or not she's had any drugs.
And the exorcism, could that have contributed to her well-being?
I would doubt it, personally.
Well, the good effect, obviously, would be if she were possessed, that the possession would be terminated. But even if she's not possessed, if she believes that exorcism is going to be helpful, in all probability, it will.
We have waited 2 months to observe any long-term effects. While still on medication, Gina's just come home from her first days back at school.
I feel much better. Thanks to God that he liberated me from evil, and I had a lot of bad things happen to me in the beginning, but I'm much better now, and I'm very happy now. I feel free.
Now, as you can see, she's very lucid. She stays in the here and now. I mean, we can talk to her, we can reason with her. You can start to impose some behavioral techniques on her. You know, she's on the road to leading a normal life, whereas before, she didn't have a chance.
Were you frightened during your experience with Father A?
After I got to know him and he has prayed for me, I was not frightened.
You remember pain?
Oh, it's just that, he was praying for me and everything. He just pressed the cross a little too hard on my top of my head because it hurt, you know. It was just too tight. But I know it was pain in other ways too, because those evil spirits were there and they had to leave that day, and I'm very happy now.
Lord Jesus Christ, you said to your apostles, I leave you peace, my peace I give you.
Father Labar continues his public role as a priest in a small church, while privately he investigates cases he considers as those of possible demonic possession. Father A believes that with each ritual, something dies inside him. He spends lonely days and sleepless nights, tormented from having incurred the direct displeasure of pure hatred. This, he says, is the price the exorcist pays.
It's the devil himself trying to weaken and destroy me.
Why do this?
She has a right to a normal life like you and I. And she's turned to the church asking for help. And if you heard the cry that she and her mother have made, you would respond in the same way.